NVIDIA just printed an $81 billion quarter, and the stock fell anyway. That's how high the bar has climbed. 5 stories reshaping the AI tape today. Let's get into it. NVIDIA reported fiscal first quarter revenue of $81.6 billion, up 85% year over year, with net profit of $58.3 billion, more than tripling. Data center alone was $75.2 billion, 92% of sales, and management guided next quarter to roughly $91 billion, ahead of the street. They raised the dividend 25-fold and authorized an $80 billion buyback, and yet shares slipped about 1.3% after hours. Why it matters? At a $5 trillion cap, a clean beat no longer moves the stock. Expectations have lapped reality. The bear case, 92% revenue concentration in data center, means any hyperscaler capex pause hits NVIDIA first and hardest. The forward signal, watch whether Vera Rubin ramps cleanly behind Grace Blackwell. If the next guide tops $100 billion, the parabola holds. Anything softer, and the air starts coming out. Anthropic is on track for its first profitable quarter, with second quarter revenue projected to more than double to $10.9 billion, roughly 2 years ahead of internal plan, per the Wall Street Journal. At the same time, it committed about $1.25 billion a month through 2029 for SpaceX's Colossus supercomputer, a $15 billion a year run rate that makes Elon Musk an AI power broker. Its $30 billion raise at a $900 billion plus valuation could close by end of May. Why it matters? Profitability at this scale is the bull case the whole sector needed. The bear case, that compute pact, is exactly the circular financing skeptics warn about. Revenue today, locked capex tomorrow. The forward signal. If the round closes at $900 billion, it resets the private AI comp table. And tie this to NVIDIA. Every dollar of that Colossus spend is the demand Jensen Huang is counting on. In the same 2-hour window, SpaceX, OpenAI, and Anthropic all signaled IPO ambitions that could value the trio in the trillions, a generational pipeline of public listings. SpaceX anchors it, a private rocket and Starlink giant, whose Colossus compute now underpins Anthropic's training, blurring the line between infrastructure and AI lab. Why it matters? These would be the most watched tech debuts since the dot-com era, capable of reshaping index weightings and soaking up sector liquidity. The bear case, 3 mega listings hitting roughly in parallel, could glut the market and compress valuations for everyone, including the names already public. The forward signal. Watch the order. If Anthropic's $900 billion private mark holds into a filing, it sets the floor for OpenAI's trillion-dollar pitch. If it slips, the entire AI IPO narrative gets repriced before a single share trades. OpenAI says one of its general-purpose reasoning models independently cracked a geometry problem that had stumped mathematicians for about 80 years, framing it not as retrieval, but as genuine scientific discovery, with implications for medicine and materials research. Why it matters? This is the narrative that justifies premium pricing. Frontier models crossing from assistant to autonomous researcher, the exact story behind enterprise and government demand. It also feeds the trillion-dollar IPO pitch from the prior story. The bear case, one headline result is not a repeatable revenue engine, and benchmark wins have a short half-life. DeepSeek's cheap open-weight model is already closing the gap on agentic tasks. The forward signal. Watch whether OpenAI converts discovery demos into paid research contracts. If a pharma or materials firm signs on the strength of this, the autonomous researcher thesis gets real. Until then, it's a great demo. President Trump summoned top tech CEOs, including OpenAI's Sam Altman and Anthropic's Dario Amodei, to Washington Thursday, to sign a long-awaited AI executive order. The framework is expected to be voluntary. Labs share new models with the government 90 days before public release. Why it matters. This deepens the federal hand in frontier oversight and could become a competitive moat. Compliant U.S. labs gain regulatory cover that offshore rivals can't match. It follows NIST agreements to test Google DeepMind, Microsoft, and XAI models in classified environments. The bear case. A 90-day pre-release window is friction, and it cements an inner circle of a few labs. Bad news for everyone outside the room. The forward signal. Watch the signing language. Thursday. If it stays voluntary, markets shrug. If it hints at mandatory review, expect compliance costs to start showing up in lab burn rates. The through line today. AI's leaders are printing record profits, signing trillion-dollar compute pacts, and lining up for the biggest IPOs in a generation, all while expectations climb faster than the numbers. The question is whether reality keeps pace. If this is the kind of signal you want before the open, subscribe. This has been the Daily Alpha.